Here's something super interesting. So this should be a progressive position that we don't talk about very much, although admittedly I don't either, but I will try to do it more often now. But here's something super interesting. So there's this article here that talks about a 4-day work week. So a 4-day work week is obviously you work 4 days, but you get paid for the five. You just bring it down to 4 days. So it goes from 40 hours to 32 hours. Now, this is something that is a very good progression, in my opinion, that we need to take the step forward to, because we need to. I not only do I think it will embetter people's lives and it will make it easier for people, to live, but I also think that it will be, it'll end up being more optimal. There's always that optimal amount for productivity, and I think that it will increase productivity, and I think it will increase the yields of said business, of whatever work or labor they're trying to get out of their workers for whatever they are trying to do for their business. Now it turns out there was a test run that went down, and it turned out to be insanely beneficial. Here's what this says. So it says a New Zealand firm that let its employees work 4 days a week while being paid for five says the experiment was so successful that it hoped to make the change permanent. Yes, permanent. Says the firm Perpetual Guardian, which manages trusts, wills, and estates, found the change actually boosted productivity among 240 employees who said they spent more time with their families exercising, cooking, and working in their gardens. The firm ran the experiment, which reduced the work week to 32 hours from 40 in March and April this year, and asked two researchers to study the effects on staff. Gerard Haar, a human resources professor at Auckland University of Technology, said employees reported a 24% improvement in work-life balance and came back to work energized after their days off. Quote, supervisors said staff were more creative, their attendance was better, they were on time, and they didn't leave early or take long breaks. Their actual job performance didn't change when doing it over 4 days instead of five. So it's a similar experiments in other countries have tested the concept of reducing work hours as a way of improving individual productivity. And it goes on to talk about other examples as well. But this is super interesting, and I think that this is a really good progression, and it makes sense logically. The idea is if you lower the work week, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get a higher yield of productivity from your workers, because instead of having to work that extra day and not get as much productivity, they're going to be more energized, they're going to be more incentivized, they're going to be, well rested, and they're going to be more creative too. Because when you give more time outside of the workplace, it's going to result in different thoughts that will result in, in more creativeness, as they explained in this story. And so I think that, study after study of actual test runs have proven that this will be more productive. And I think it's a great idea. I think it not only is it good on a moral level, but I also think on a, people, one of the main, sort of frameworks is, productivity. It works on that front too. So it's a two-front beast that I don't understand why you wouldn't want to do this. Now there are also, now this isn't completely related, but the $15 minimum wage, for example, I think it was IKEA that did it, and they actually liked it because instead of having to cycle through so many employees, because it's sort of like it was a lower wage, they were able to train less people, and so it ended up yielding a better situation for them. And so these progressive policies have other benefits as well that sort of cancel out a lot of the potential or perceived negatives of said policies. And so I personally am 100% advocate of a 4-day work week. I think it would be great. I think it would lead to more productivity, and I think on a moral level, it is very highly, highly preferable.